Okay, so this is going to be a quick video on how to use the Knox program to um, uh, make sure you're using your hyperfarms as efficiently as possible. So this right here that I have open is your home screen on Knox. I'm assuming everybody has already downloaded it. Um, as far as settings go, up here on the top of your screen, there's a little cogwheel thing. It's going to be for your system settings. Obviously, you want to take all your tips and notifications off. Um, Save your settings. Go into advanced settings, and depending entirely on how many instances you want open at the same time or how good your computer is, the graphics and RAM in my computer are very, very outdated, unfortunately. So I have all of my settings set as low as possible. You want to make sure that all of your settings on each one of your instances are the same. So make sure that you double check everything. As far as the super important things go, your advanced setting here for performance, resolution, and stuff is going to affect you guys the most. Another thing that I did not think would be a necessity is doing this VT enabling thing. What it does is it makes you go through your boot settings when you restart your computer, and it's going to make you tinker around with some of your stuff there. I would really, really recommend doing it. I went from barely managing to have 3 open at the same time to having 4 open at the same time and having everything be smooth. So it is a huge boost to your computer performance for this specifically, and probably some other games or applications as well. So I'd really recommend enabling your VT setting as well. And essentially, as far as your interface goes, on the side, at least for my version, I don't know what it's going to be like for Mac or a different setup, we have a whole bunch of icons. The important ones that I use the most is this one right here. It has a mouse icon on it. Actually, zoom in so that way everybody can see it a little bit better. So this one right here is going to be for your macros. Super duper easy to set these up. All you got to do is, it's not even in the screen. There. All you have to do is go to the top where you have your play button. You play, and then it's going to record anything that you do on the screen, as far as clicks and drags and typing too. So I've already set up all my accounts, and so I have a bunch of macros in here already. You will want to figure out what you want to do. I can go through a different video and let you guys have some examples of what I use for macros, and why I do it a specific way compared to a different way. But this one's just going to be for setting up and using everything. So this mouse button here is for your macros. The one right above it is for your multi-instance manager. I would recommend just getting a bunch of different ones to have for each individual account, because then you don't have to worry about logging out. You can just close a program and open another one. The instance manager is very helpful because all you have to do is hit this play button over here, and it's going to load whichever one that you hit. So I'll move that over to the side and open some more. Close out the macro reader because we're not gonna, or recorder because we're not gonna go through a whole lot of that right now. Mostly what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys the initial setup to keep the video short, and I'm going to show you the synchronized settings, which is super awesome. And if you remember back when I was talking to you about settings and making sure you have your resolution set up the right way, every single one of mine is set up exactly the same. And that is because when you do macros, it's going to click on a very specific spot on your screen, and if your settings are wrong, that screen, that position is going to be different. Because your pixels are essentially going to be a little bit bigger on one screen, and it's going to click on an individual pixel. So unfortunately for this video, I do not have any dragon energy available, but I will show you what I do with dragon stuff. So essentially, all you have to do is click this down here on the bottom. Let me move these guys over a little bit more so you can actually see the screen. Let's see. So if you saw there, what I did was I accidentally messed up my window size. You want to go into your settings again, go to advanced and restore window size. And that's going to be really important because you don't want your sizes to be different because of macros and everything else like that. So down over here, there is the two arrows facing away from each other. One's going right, one's going left. It's the option for synchronized operation. So essentially what you can do is you hit the play button and it's going to synchronize everything. So we'll move this over on this side because I'm going to be using this screen on the left. So if you hit the home button, it's going to do the same thing on everything. You go here, see I'm scrolling on one screen, is scrolling all three. So what you want to do, what I do with monsters and utilizing my dragon energy, I click on one screen that is not the one that's synchronized. So in this one, I hit the synchronized operations on one side, or on one instance. So anything I do here in the middle screen, I'm going to copy to the other screens. Or if I go over here and unclick like my wood thing, it's not going to move my left screen anymore because I unchecked the box. So super easy with that, really nice and fun to play around with. But as far as dragon stuff goes, on all my farms I usually hit level 3s because they are the easiest to kill, essentially. And then what I did is I created a group because I send coordinates to a group with all of my farms in it. And that way, I can find a level 3, I can send chords to my group, and nobody in Alliance chat gets spammed. And then I go back into the instance that I am using for my main operations. You click chat, you go over to your friends option, and then you click here. So as you can see now, I'm locked in to the same exact monster on all 3 accounts that I have open. And that's going to be important because that way you can attack 3 or 4 or 5, however many instances you have open at the same time. I don't think I have any dragon energy, but I will gem some energy just to, I'm going to gem it against 500s that I'll use. That I will use just to show you what it looks. So, never mind, that one was not an issue. So essentially, you can just attack with multiple accounts at the same time, and you can do it with that. So that's pretty much the basics on synchronized operation and how to set it up. One thing, when you are doing your multi-instance manager, what you can do is just add an emulator here on the bottom. You can copy a specific instance. It's going to copy all the settings. So if you get your one account set up, and then you just copy it however many times you want. I have 10 different accounts, so I have 10 different instances. And that's pretty much how you set it up. I will go through in a little bit on how to set up macros and, um, and easy ways to do that. Because there's an easy way to do it and there's a hard way to do it, just because of the way the game works and how your computer works too. But that is Nux. I would really recommend it if you do have farms. Almost all of these accounts here, besides the 3 here on the far bottom, are mine. I keep them all hyped up so that way I don't have to deal with 20-minute 20-minute transports. But it is not a smart thing to do if you are not going to constantly be monitoring everything, because if your bubbles drop, all your accounts get 0 because they're right next to each other. So it is high risk. And then that's it. I'm gonna go make another video for macros. So watch that one if you are interested in macros and how I set them up.